And welcome back to another reaction video. On here we're gonna cover epic car show detailing. The video is called What It's Really Like Being a Luxury Car Detailer. Huge eye opener. I watched a little bit of this video and figured this would be a good one for a reaction. And remember, this just to offer my own feedback on what I see in like running a business and such. So not any hate or anything, it's just my sharing my open opinion about this video. So let's go ahead and get started. As always, I'll have it at 1.5 just to get through the video a bit faster.
So you will find lots of Chelsea footballers and celebrities amongst the community.
Actually, I have a video not too long ago talking about the high-end market and if you can make more money in the high-end market versus the non-high-end market. So if you're interested in watching a video, but basically I just say like I really don't like the mindset. I haven't watched the entire video, so I don't know where we're at, but I generally don't like the mindset saying, you know, if you target the high-end market, the high-end customers, the rich customers, that you're gonna make more money or you're gonna be able to do whatever, or they're gonna be better clients or whatever. So that's like I disagree with all that as a whole, just because there's so many examples of that clearly not being the case and still having a very large successful company. But again, as I say in almost every video, it all comes down to your goals and what you want out of your business and life. So not that there's no right or wrong answer, it's just my personal opinion on the high-end market. To me, does not correlate in any way, shape, or form to more success or better customers or cars that you're going to work on.
I keep things very simple. I don't carry a massive amount of products. I carry just the bare essentials. I now even stop using water in my water tank. I now just use the client's water because it's so much easier for me just to pull everything out, fill it up, and just go, because it's sort of less weight. And with the way it feels going.
Yeah, so there you go. So if he's working on billionaires' cars and Lamborghinis and stuff, he's using the customer's water and power. How many people are always asking or saying, well, I really want to start my business, but man, I don't want to use the customer's power and water. What water tank and pressure washer and generator should I get? Well, here you go. This man's here working on high-end vehicles, on billionaires' cars, and he's using their power and water. So why would it be any different for you? So if you're starting your business, if you're stuck on what power and water should I use, you can use anything. You can use the customer's power and water, as I did for 7 years, as this gentleman is working on high-end vehicles, because it's not a big deal. It's very understanding. It doesn't make you less of a detailer. It means nothing. It just, you can use their power and water because they're going to be okay with it. And for those that aren't okay with it, the ones that kind of give you some type of attitude, do you want to be working with them in the first place? Probably not.
It's nice to sort of keep things as light as possible because it's definitely not cheap, this business. And plus they can afford it. So
that part, yeah, a few times some of our team members have said that kind of phrase of like they can afford it, or like they have that car, they can afford it. And I always shut that idea down. It's like, dude, we're not here to judge anyone. We're not here to say, oh, you can't afford it because you have this place or you live here. We're not here to judge. We're here to clean and work based on the customer's needs and budget. I honestly don't like hearing that, like having my team members say that, because you're in no position to say anything about someone's life, right? So that's why I tell everyone, like, I don't want to hear anything about they can or can't, right? The same person that has a Corolla that wants to spend $1,000 on the car does not mean that someone that has, you know, $1 million wants to spend $1,000 on the car. You don't know the situation. You don't know what they value, what they don't value. So when anyone says anything of that over here, I'm like, dude, don't say that. Like, we're not here to judge. We're not here to what they can or can't. We're here just to work. I don't care if it's a nice neighborhood, guarded security at the front gate. You know, I'm not here to judge. We're here to work based on what the customer wants, their budget, and their needs. That's it.
So I want you to think about this one for a moment. Imagine if you were the guy who earns a few £1 million per month. If you've got stunning cars, wouldn't you want them looking perfect every single time? I know many clients who call me out.
Yeah, like that, like, no. You know, like how many cars have you seen that goes through a tunnel wash or through a cheap like $5 hand car wash? For how many, when you go to Cars and Coffee on Sunday morning, how many cars of those, like not super cars, but, you know, not your little, you know, I don't know, whatever car, like they're high value cars, some of them being like high-end cars, some of them being supercars, they're all swirled up. Like I've seen it time and time again when it's like the paint's not in great condition. What, a Urus, a Lambo, a Porsche, whatever, like the paint's not in good condition. Like most cars won't be in pristine condition even if it is a high-end vehicle. Like that's like a fact. That's an absolute fact right there.
And when you have an unlimited supply of money, it's far easier just to get a mobile car cleaner out to them. Because for them to go to a hand car wash, it can be a waste for so many reasons.
Yeah, see, I just don't like I just don't like that language of like when you have so much money. It's like I don't play that card at all. I don't look at it that way. I'm not there to do that. Like that's just a me thing. That's how that's not what I think at all when it comes to like, well, they have money, right? It's like that's not my call, dude. I'm here to serve what they want. If they just want a wash and wax and not a two-step correction and ceramic coating, that's what they want. I'm not here to do what, you know, just because they have money, they're supposed to like be this guy that wants everything perfect. I mean, how many basketball players have supercars, nice cars? You think they know anything about cars, about paint, about engines, transmissions, wheels? Like they don't know anything about cars, you know? So it's like, no, just because you have money, it doesn't correlate, at least in my eyes, to like anything.
And I want to give you a perfect example. Let's just say Mr. Millionaire, he earns £1,000 per hour. Now, for him to drive to his nearest hand car wash, he would have wasted at least 20 minutes of his time. So that's going to cost him over £330. So it's far easier for him to drop me one text and then I'll come over. So when I charge £70 plus for a standard inside and out clean, not only are they saving money from their own time, but they also get the best service. So it's win-win because they get a bargain and they save £260 and I get a very easy car to clean. And this is exactly why the luxury car cleaning industry is booming at the minute and the budget car cleaning industry is struggling like crazy because people now are
Okay, see that one, that is a pretty bad statement right there. So when anyone, and not just him, but like I hear this time and time again across the interwebs, right? And I'll play it back for you, and I'll just slow it down just in case it goes. Because some people, I typically listen to things like at 2.4, 2.8 the speed. I know a lot of people don't do that, so 1.5 might sound fast. But I be zooming through videos when I'm watching them on my own. So let me play it again.
Bargain, and they save £260, and I get a very easy car to clean. And this is exactly why the luxury car cleaning industry is booming at the minute, and the budget car cleaning industry is struggling like crazy because people now associate budget washes with going to hand car washes.
So on that one, yeah, so that one, like, every time anyone says that, right, I've heard it multiple times, like, why people go with high-end and stuff. It's like, okay, show me the actual data that shows that. Show me actual examples that show me. Show me, show me someone. First of all, most detailers, 95% of detailers have a small business. One-man operation or two-man operation. Like, and this isn't to like to slight any of us, but it's like it's the reality of the detail industry. Most of us don't have big companies. Most of us aren't looking to make $5 million per year. Most of us don't have this big organization, right? You go to HVAC, plumbing, electrical. You go to like all these other bigger companies, construction, roofing. It's the norm to have a multi-million-dollar company in those service industries versus a detailing, which is also service industry. We don't compare to any of them. That's why I say like when it comes to competition, when it comes to like how hard it is to get customers, it's like bro, like relative to other industries, detailing falls to the bottom of the totem pole in terms of like how difficult it is. Like lawyers, dentists, orthodontics, not chiropractors, doctors, like so many other ones where it's like that actually gets competitive because they actually have money to put in there through loans, through whatever. And then you have like roofing, electrical, where like you're competing for homes. It's like that is a ton more competitive. It costs way more. Like across the board, it costs way more than the detailing industry, right? And I think earlier he said, it costs a lot of money to start this business. It's like no, it does not. Relative to other companies, to other industries, as far as the cost to entry and then the tools and products that you need, like compare doing 1 week's worth of cars, of all the material and supplies that you need, and compare that to roofing. Compare that to installing just electricity power in a home. Compare it to literally anything. It's a night and day difference on like what the two require. Now, I'm not saying it's just like a walk in the park and you can do, anyone could just walk off the street and go do detailing because, that's it's not as difficult as everything else. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, it's good to have perspective. It's good to have different viewpoints of what is what, right? It's very good to see like, oh, you know what? Actually, I thought detailing was super difficult, but I've opened my eyes and I see all these other industries. And man, when I look at detailing now, it's like, it's a walk in the park. That's the way I look at things, right? It's like, relative to all these other industries, man, we have it easy. We have it simple. I forgot what I was talking about. But it's like, it's very straightforward. So when it comes to, I remember. So when it comes to saying like the high-end market is booming and the budget detailing is suffering, it's like, what does that mean? Like, what does that actually mean, right? Like, does it mean like a one-man operation that's working on high-end vehicles is more successful than someone that does budget details but has a team of 10 and making 500,000? I'm making up numbers, 500,000 per year. Like what So and that's why I go back to the beginning of the video. It all depends on your goals and what you want to accomplish. Like for me at this point, like this is like across the board. Like if I was working by myself out of my home garage, I would be miserable. Like that's just because that's not what I want. Like that's not the type of goals that I'm going after. That's not the type of business that I want, right? Like that does not excite me at all. On that same note, do I get super excited and like motivated? It's like, oh man, I really want to work on high-end vehicles. Also not a big deal to me either, right? Like I don't care whether it's a high-end, whether it's a Urus, whether it's a Corolla, whether it's a Ford Raptor, whether it's a Toyota Tacoma. Like that stuff is like, it's just things that just don't matter to me. It doesn't make a difference in how I run the business. Now, like even like just the other day, we had a gentleman that spent $3,500 with us, right, on 2 vehicles. Were either of them high-end vehicles? No. Were they the fastest, newest, biggest vehicles? No. So it's not so much of the high-end vehicle that it's like, who values their vehicle more, right? Like, does it necessarily mean that someone that has $1 million, right, are they going to be a better client, a better paying client, tip you better, and be more attentive to you and their vehicles because they have $1 million, versus someone that's making $65,000 a year and they generally, truly love, appreciate, and want to take care of their vehicles? Like, does it say rich better and not rich worse? Like, not at all, So that part's like, I would like 1,000% disagree with saying the high-end market is thriving while the budget detailing is not, because it's like, go to the most expensive steakhouse in your area, like the most expensive of expensive, right? Order the most expensive thing, right? Do you think that that expensive steakhouse is making more money than a McDonald's, like one single McDonald's location? Probably not. Is McDonald's making the most premium whatever food? Absolutely not, right? So it's not just about saying, oh, you get to charge more, or it's a high-end vehicle, right? It's like it's absolutely none of that. Again, it comes down to your goals, to your business, to how you want to run things. So that's why it's like you said, there's no right or wrong answer. Like there is no right or wrong answer to anything. It's just when people say stuff like that, I'm like, what? Where is that coming from? Like how? What is the validity behind it? Like how are you coming to this conclusion that high-end is booming and budget detailing is not, when it's like, dude, everyone in the detailing industry has a small business, me included. Like, I'm not saying like I'm out of that. It's like we all have a small business relative to other industries. It's like, it would be nice if detail companies, it's like where it was common for detail companies to pass the 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million mark. Like that would be very cool, because that would elevate everyone's game. Whereas everyone wants to stay by themselves, work at a garage, and just stay at one-man operation. Like go to painting, roofing, HVAC, plumbing. It's very common for things to scale, because it's like there's such a high demand. It's like we want to be able to service more customers and homes and residents. Anyways, long little rant right there.
So my biggest bit of advice to you is do your research, make sure you've got plenty of funds in your account before you jump into something like this. It's not an easy job, and with the cold temperatures as well in the middle of the winter, it can get very difficult and very demotivating.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and detailing is still a hard work, a hard labor job. Like, it seems cool watching the videos and like pressure washing a vehicle and cleaning a vehicle, but it's like you are on your feet the entire time. You are bending down, bending over, picking up things like in awkward positions for long periods of time. And depending on what you're working on, if you have a lift, if you don't, if it's at a shop, if it's not, if it's mobile or not, like all these things will factor into like it's a labor intensive job. It is you're not like other industries, but nonetheless, like it is hard labor. Like you will be tired by the end of the day. Like if you are not, conscientious about your health and your physical body, it'll take a toll on it much sooner than later. I mean, your knees, your back, your hands, like, and to be fair, every industry has its own little nuances or problems or dilemmas, right? Like, if you're working in, if you are a mover, like a furniture and stuff, and like we take furniture from one home, move it to the next. Your back can be sore and tired. A hygienist, a dentist that just that does the maintenance cleaning in your mouth, they can develop arthritis because their hands are literally always like this. Tattoo artists or artists in general are always cramming their hands like this. So every like industry or field has their own little like this comes along with it. But yeah, it can definitely be very, very physically demanding, especially if you have like a lot more vehicles to do and there's less of a time of a break and that's why for us, that's why I'm super heavy on having a team, because like last week we hit 4,100, and let's say moving forward we want to hit close to like 7,000 per week. Like can one human being manage all that and still be like mentally focused and physically well by trying to hit 7,000 in 1 week? No, that's why you need a team to kind of spread that work around and everyone gets a little bit of everything. So it's not just one person like taking the full brunt force of the work. So it is very, very labor intensive. It doesn't look like it, but and then you on top of that you do add the cold, the weather, the winter, or when it's really hot, like over here in Texas. It's not a good time last night. It's just really not a good time with the weather.
And as we roll towards winter, you may just have to accept that things aren't going to be as straightforward as you think. So while you might be able to get around the whole car quicker without it drying, you will find things like wearing extra layers of clothing can slow you down. Not to mention the pain you get in your hands from the cold water, but luckily for us in the UK, we are experiencing a pretty mild November. After the exterior was fully...
Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah, just real quick, yes, like, go wash when it's, 50, 45, 30 degrees outside. Like, do you still go work? Should you still go wash a car? So with that one, it's like, like we look at it both ways. If the temperatures are very, very, very hot, meaning like it's gonna be like heat advisory out there, we will move slower, take more breaks, drink more water. And the same thing will be said if it's really cold. Like if it's really cold to the point where it's like, this is just kind of, it's almost painful to do this. It's like, we will, we'll do something, whether like kind of reschedule car, not go out, be triple layered. But it's just like, you kind of just, you adapt to the weather because, I mean, you can't just send, or you just can't go out there and work irrespective of the weather just because like, oh, it has to get done. It's like, no, dude, like you have to think about your health, both mentally and physically. And like, is it healthy to go out there the whole week when it's like 30 degrees and it's like you're doing washes and paint corrections? Like, is that good for your body? Yes, no, but it's just one of those things you have to consider.
Questions I get asked is, how on earth did I find all of these customers in the first place? And the answer is simple. I use Google Maps to my advantage to get free advertising. And back in the day, I listed my home address on Google, but then I chucked in loads of keywords. I used to mention certain locations, then it would start to show up all over the place. For example, if somebody was in London and they searched car cleaning or detailing, I would always pop up at number 1.
Yeah, so what he's referring to is search engine optimization, SEO. So that's when you optimize your website to rank it on the first page of Google for specific keywords in your local area. So if you're in Austin, Texas, and you're a mobile detailer, you'd want to rank for mobile car detailing Austin, mobile auto detailing Austin, and other keywords like auto detailing Austin, car detailing Austin, headlight restoration Austin. So that's search engine, that's what he's referring to.
And when you look at the industry as a whole, you'll now find it's pretty cutthroat. And if you let a client down, then the odds are they won't hang about either. So you always need to...
Yeah, so actually, yeah, like the industry being very cutthroat, I truly do not believe that in any shape, way, or form. I would not say it's cutthroat at all. Like if you lose a customer, like I always try to make it to, I always say that it's never really a do or die situation with anything in your business. Like if you have an unhappy customer, and take it as far as you can, if you damage a customer's vehicle, like obviously that's not good, but is it like a make it or break it? I don't mean like you wrecked the vehicle. I mean, maybe let's say the worst that typically detailers kind of think about is like you burn through paint on a panel, right? Is that just the end all be all, like you can never recover from that again? I mean, it might hurt a lot. Let's say you pay for the respray on that panel, depending on the vehicle. But again, like we're taking it to the very extreme, like you've burned through paint. Like you gotta do a lot to burn through paint. Is it really like after this, every single person in your area will know that this happened and you will never be able to get another customer again? No, I don't think that way. And again, like I'm saying you're burning through paint. Like I'm talking the most extreme case of like just negligence, So I don't think it's cutthroat. Like if you lose a customer, it's gonna, like, do you really think every customer that you service of the next 2,000 customers is gonna have a 10 out of 10 experience with you, that like not one little hiccup will happen in those next 2,000 customers? Yeah, right. Like it's just natural. Like we're all humans, we all make mistakes. So I honestly don't think it's cutthroat at all.
I hate the end of the day because you have to sort everything out. Because if I don't do it now, it's going to be pitch black when I get home. That means in the morning I'm going to have to sort it all out before I even get to my first job. It's a bit of a faff. So if you can, try and sort all your stuff out before you go home.
Yeah, and that one at the end of every shift here, the crew leader preps the van. So just like that, it's like if that way when they come in the next morning, the van's ready, set to go. They just got to come to the shop, clock in, and then head out to the first location. So yeah, if possible, I would say definitely do it at the end of the shift. That we can just get it over. You get, next day, tomorrow, it's okay, fresh start, ready to go, I'm rested. They just get straight to work. You might have to check, maybe add some batteries here and there or change a few things here and there, but get 95% of everything ready for the next day at the end of the previous day's shift. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. Again, I'm not trying to, throw shade or anything at him. It's like, when I see videos like this, like I see it as a collective view of like all the times I've ever seen it on the Facebook groups, on the detailing forums, on the YouTube videos, in my DMs, in the comments. Like it's like a accumulation of everything that I've seen, it's like, man, I've heard this like plenty of times as well. So, yeah, overall good video. He has some good video. I've seen some in the past, so they're pretty good. Check them out. I'll have it linked down in the video description below. Other than that, let me know in the comment section down below if you have any thoughts on this, or what's your take on high-end versus like budget detailing. I know in the UK they talk a bit different. I think it's called valeting, right? Valeting versus detailing, and I know valeting is more like high-end, and then detailing is more like budget stuff, I think, or like more like interior grunt work, I believe. So I know there's a difference in like language and how things are used. So I think that's coming from that angle as well. I think that would apply to them. So anyways, let me know in the comment section down below what you think. You can download the ultimate guide to start your detailing business. You can find my podcast, the Detailing Business Class Podcast. It's on Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcast. And if you want to check out my second channel, the Proper Care channel, where I talk, show, do everything detailing related, that'll be all linked down below. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to everyone on the next one. Bye-bye.